Good morning. Today, I warmed up by making a witch. So I was listening to a lecture about Romano British pottery. Ladies, form a queue. And I was doodling a bit. If I'm ever near paper for any amount of time, it turns into festering rags or gets covered in little goobers. That's just a law of the universe I've come to accept. Anyway, amongst the many strange and misshapen fish and insightful notes like Vespasian linked to BB1 production and BIG KILN 2755, I drew a small witch with big glasses. This really appealed to me. I mean, the drawing is bad, obviously, and it's sat next to whatever this thing is. Please leave a comment telling me what this is. It will appear directly behind whoever gives the best answer. I still knew what I liked about it. I'm kind of like Michelangelo, you know, when he said the sculpture was already complete within the block of marble, he just had to bring it out? Yeah, I'm a lot like that. The cool idea was already in this hastily scribbled mess. I just had to spend an hour in the morning to bring it to life. I'm actually only half joking, by the way. About the quote part, I am Michelangelo, he is literally me. No sooner had I doodled it than I was thinking about its 3D shape specifically as a low poly model. Something about the over magnified glasses sitting beneath a witch's cap really made my mind go to that crunchy PS1 look. So I decided to make her. I find it's really good practice to do low poly work, especially for characters and vehicles and stuff. Working with technical restraints makes you a lot more conscious of the shapes you're using and more willing to try out new things. Firstly, because it's faster, and secondly, because I feel like good low poly work, and by good I of course mean things that directly appeal to my aesthetic sensibilities, suggest shapes rather than being them. It lets you get quite expressive and bold with the silhouettes. It actually reminds me a lot of live drawing. You know, you're sat in a room full of people, they're naked with all their pendulous bits. And it's a common practice to do fast, gestural drawings. You're just trying to capture the feel of the pose. You're not interested in detail or faces. You're trying to whittle down the person in front of you to the barest nub of visual meaning. And I get a lot of the same feeling with low poly work. I often hide behind detail or assume the look or feel of what I'm after will just sort of appear later on. It'll look less mid once I texture it. And while this can be true, I feel like you've really got to nail the shapes you're after when you've only got a couple of hundred triangles to work with. So if we look at, I should really give her a name, Angela Winchford. So if we look at Angie without any textures, most of what the design is trying to convey is still there. So there it is. This morning I made a low poly witch with big glasses. It's gonna be a great day.